So this next question is a bearings question and with some trigonometry as well. So we're told that the ship sails 900 kilometers on a bearing of 135. That's not actually labelled on my drawing, so I'm just going to label that on first of all. So it's 135, and that means that they're going from M to S. So from M to S, so that's this direction here. And the ship then sails 300 due east. So this means that this is horizontal as a line. So it's due east until they get to V. The first part of it is to work out the size of angle VSM. So to find that, we go from V to S to M, and we can see it's this angle here that I've drawn. So that's the angle that I'm trying to find. And to start off with, I would always draw on all of my north lines because that can really help us with any kind of bearings question. And we can see there that we have a C angle or a co-interior angle, which is this one here. We know that co-interior angles add up to 180. So if I have 135 here, then this side over here is going to be 180 minus 135, and that's going to be 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is just this part here, and this is obviously a 90-degree angle because it travels, this is north and this travels directly east. And so for the first part, it's 45 plus 90, and that gives me 135 degrees. So the second part is asking me to work out the length of line M to V. So that's this length over here, so M to V. So if I draw out the triangle again with the information that I've got so far, so I have 135, this is my corner S, M and V. I know that this is 900 and that this side here is 300. And you can see there, hopefully straight away, that this is the cosine rule because I have two sides and the angle in between them, and I'm trying to find the third side. So I have three sides and one angle, including what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use the cosine rule, and the cosine rule is a squared is equal to b squared, so 300 squared, plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of the angle in between, which is 135 degrees. And from here, we can then type that straight into numeric solver, and that would give us 1,132 kilometers. So you can type that straight into numeric solver. You don't need to worry about forgetting to square root, which is quite a common mistake. And then part C, we're asked to calculate the bearing of M from V. So that means 2M from V. So 2M from V is this part here. And we know that bearings always go from north in a clockwise manner. So we're working out this angle here. Now we know straight away that this angle must equal 270. Oops. Because this is 90 degrees, we've got north, and this is west. Okay, so it's 270 degrees. So if we can find out what this angle here is, then we would be able to work out the bearing, because the bearing goes from north up to the line that I'm going to. So again, let's draw out my triangle. So I have this same triangle that I had before. This is my 135, 900, 300. And I now know that this is 1132 kilometers, and I'm trying to work out this angle here in the corner. So for this one, we can see that we can use the cosine rule. I have the angle that I'm looking for, which is opposite the length of 900. And I also have the angle of 135, which is opposite the 1132 that I just found. Often they're asking you to find something in part B that you might need to use in C. So if you're not sure what to do, that's always a good place to start. So sine of 135 equals 1132, over 1132 equals sine of the angle over 900. Now I've written it that way round because I'm looking for the x, and it is much easier on the calculator if we leave the unknown as a numerator, not as a denominator underneath the fraction. So again, we can type that straight into numeric solver. We don't need to worry about sine inverse. So 34.2 degrees, which means that the bearing, which was this full kind of green angle that I had here, is the 270 plus the 34.2 that I've just found. So the bearing as a final answer is 34.2 plus 270, and that gives me 304.2. But we know that bearings are always 3 digits, so we have to round it to the nearest 3 digits or 3 significant figures, and that is 304. So in terms of the marking there, the first one is 1 mark, so that's going to be for your answer of 135. The next one is 3 marks, so usually that would be 1 for using the cosine rule and 1 for the correct substitution, and then 1 for your final answer, inclusive of units there. And then we have 1 for using the sine rule and 1 for using the sine rule correctly, so substituting in with the correct values. 1 for your 34.2, and then for knowing to add that to the 270, which gives you your final mark.